Hey everyone, so with the recent announcement of 1.6 and the confirmation of Kazuha, I wanted to make this video detailing why I will be summoning for him and why you should too. Now, first up, let's talk about his overall aesthetic. Oh man, I think he's definitely one of the coolest looking characters I've seen, with a sort of samurai look going on, with not only his clothes but the way he handles his sword and attacks. And also he looks oddly similar to the normal Traveler character, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, moving on to his animations with his sword. Oh man. Now, before I get on to his 10 out of 10 bursts, let's talk about his normal attack animations. Man, they are just so fluid and nice to look at. And if we compare him to an older character like Jean, she just looks so much more sluggish compared to Kazuha. But what really elevates him to another level is that animation when he sheaths his sword. Oh man, if you've ever watched some anime, you will always see that one character who slowly sheaths their sword until that last click, and oftentimes at that moment the enemy will die, like Zoro in One Piece. But yeah, it's really cool. Now let's talk about his elemental skill. Sort of reminds me of Venti's skill in that they both propel themselves upwards. However, the great thing about Kazuha's is that you can use it while in midair. Yes, that means you can finally double jump. A platforming game staple finally makes its way to Genshin. And oh boy, is it cool. I can definitely see a use for this in exploring the world and also just to get out of dangerous situations. But of course, for the second part, allows you to plunge into the ground and deal AoE damage. And with that, let's move on to probably the best looking burst I've ever seen. And honestly, this alone is a reason to summon for him, even if you don't think you'll use him that much, because this burst, man, holy crap, it looks amazing with Kazuha swinging the sword and creating a vortex which will deal damage periodically and will change depending on which element the enemy is. It's really nice. And I really like the idea of the burst being different depending on the element of the enemy. Makes it more flexible, as you can use it on different enemies in order to achieve maximum damage depending on the element, the rest of the enemies. Next, the fact that he is an Nemo character is also a nice thing, as they have access to a very powerful artifact set, Viridescent Veneer, which with Kazuha will be extremely powerful, as long as it works with his burst, as the burst already infused with the enemy's element, which will activate the 4-piece set and help your main DPS defeat the enemy. Now again, he is in fact a support character and is there to mostly aid with additional damage and proc reactions for the team, than to be a damage dealer. However, like many support characters in the past like Zhongli or Jean, if the Genshin community likes them enough, they'll find a way to make them deal a ton of damage and act as the main DPS, which I'm positive the same thing will happen with Kazuha. And personally, is the way I'm probably going to be building him, as while he does look like a decent support, I think that playing him as a main DPS will be so cool, especially the burst and hitting crazy numbers with that would be amazing. And even if he doesn't perform that well as a main DPS, I can always just switch and play him as a support, as I would have already leveled him up and such, and also the fact that supports often do better in the long run, as people like Venti, for example, who were released quite a bit ago, is still one of the top supports due to his kit. However, on the other side, main DPSs often get outclassed as the game goes on, as characters like Ganyu, like Hu Tao, who can do like a million DPS gets released, puts the previous main DPS characters to shame. But yeah, anyways, I'm very excited for Kazuha and hope that you enjoyed and are as excited to pull for him as I am. And so the last thing to do is to pray to the Genshin gods that we win the 50-50 and pull Kazuha. Thank you for watching. See you next time.